What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig. I hope you guys had a great weekend. We're going to see what's going on with the charts, take a look at what I'm expecting for Bitcoin and what areas to watch for. Definitely stick around for the whole video. I'm also going to show you a video of 2 years ago when I said I think the bottom would be in 2023 and what the date was. So make sure you stick around for that. Let's get into it. We'll also take a look at our Tesla chart and a few others. So starting out with the Dow Jones, right here is the trend line we've been watching, right? We are now opening and closing candles below it again. If we continue below here, then I think we may have seen the top for Bitcoin. If we get another spike up here, then we may get one more spike up that we've been talking about for Bitcoin, maybe just break 31,000, somewhere in that area before coming down. But let's take a look at what's going on and what to watch for. So as you can see in the RSI right here, we did get rejected off this trend line on the daily for the Dow. Now, if we look at the S&P, we've been looking at this as a possible bear flag. Still looking at that with the targets. If we break below this bottom level, about 39.65, that doesn't mean it happens today. But if we do break that, we're going to be getting our first target of about 34.58, and if that breaks, looking down to the 26 to 2800 range right down in here. And if you look at the RSI, we are making a perfect rising wedge here. If we do come down, break this, it's gonna be pretty dramatic for the markets. Now, that doesn't mean it has to happen in a week, in 2 weeks. This could take time. Like I said, I'll show you when I think the bottom of the markets will be in. So looking at the DXY, if we look at this on the daily in the bigger picture, it is not as bearish as everyone thinks. Look at this correction, right? Could it go down further? Yes, possible. We showed you this in the RSI right here. Once we broke out of this, we got a nice spike up and a continuation back down to the downside. There is a possibility we come all the way down to here. Now, if the markets spike, right? Remember, guys, Bitcoin is dependent on what the markets do. It is a risky asset. I don't care what anyone says. And I'm not saying it's going to die, right? I think Bitcoin will flourish and go much, much higher in the future. I just don't think it's going to be as quick as everyone thinks. And I'll show you why. But as you can see right here, we do have room for this to get one more drop for the DXY. If that happens, that would coincide with a spike in the markets and Bitcoin attempt to get some more bulls in before the continuation to the downside. But as of right now, we're getting supported on the 0.5 fib. If we look in here now, if the DXY spikes up and gets back above this 21 EMA, which is around 102.20 ish, then we're going to be looking at the 55 EMA at about 102.90, somewhere in that range. If that breaks, then we got our 200. But as you guys know, I'm very bullish on it. Even if we do have one more drop down, I see the DXY going much, much, much higher, guys. So just be careful. I tried to warn people back in December of 2021 of all of this. And if you've been watching since then, I said we would get spikes up in the bear market. Right? Every spike up would just be for them to get higher highs, or not higher highs, but higher prices to sell. If they sold all at once, it would just crash Bitcoin, right? They got to let people FOMO in. They let people think the bottom's in, get the price a little bit higher before they dump, right? So as you can see here, this is a trend line right here, just off of these 2 wicks. We did not quite make it up there. If we were to spike up there this week, it'd be around 31,150. Now, if we get above that and come back down, test it for support and go, then we could look at a bullish case, right? And that would be bullish if we're above this trend line. But as of right now, we are below the trend line. As you can see here in the RSI, remember this is the weekly, we made slightly higher highs in the RSI. And if we look at those same peaks on the price action, we made much lower highs, right? That is hidden bearish divergence in the macro trend on the weekly. It is still bearish, guys, in my opinion. I do think we'll see lower lows this year, and I'll explain when. Another way I want to look at this for you guys is a giant falling wedge showing one more low down to these areas. If it's in September and October, it could go as low as 3,500 still. It doesn't have to either way. Still looking for a lower low here. And as you can see, there's the RSI higher high and lower high in the price action, right? It is a, B, C, well, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're looking for fifth wave down in a falling wedge. They have ABC corrections within them. So this one, we may get down to this level here, maybe 13.5, come back up to retest this zone about 20,000 before continuing down. So as you can see on the weekly, we have plenty of time as long as we don't break above this trend line here. Taking a look at the 4 hours. So the 4 hour, or no, this is the daily, I'm sorry. Looking at this dotted yellow trend line and the solid trend line on the bottom, the measured move of that, as you guys know, if you've been watching, was around that 31.5. I was waiting for 31.5. Did I get in a short? Yes. And if you watched the last video, I told you exactly what I was going to do, and that's exactly what I done. But anyway, and I told you once we get back below this, which was our old measured move from the white falling wedge, right? And the breakout was right here. We got above it, spiked above it, got everyone bullish, came back down below. Now, if this remains resistance around the 29,000 range, my next big target doesn't mean it'll happen in a candle, right? Next big candle will be around 19.9, somewhere in there, 20,000, whatever, might get a bounce. But I'll show you in the 4 hour smaller time frame what I'm looking for. And then we have our target here at 95 and then 34. If you guys are interested in trading, before we go into more detail, definitely check out my sponsor, PrimeXBT, by far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. You can trade crypto, Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, everything all from one exchange. I have a link down below. I'll leave a tutorial at the end of the video. You can use my promo code SAVVY50. That'll get you up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margin. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off your fees. Remember, guys, none of this is financial advice, and always use risk management. If you don't know how to trade, don't be just throwing money in and expecting to get rich quick. That's not how trading works, regardless of what anybody says, right? So let's take a look at the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, this target is from last week, right? I showed you guys the measured move of this. If we broke this trend line, the measured move is around 25.8 to 26. I'm still looking for that range. Let me open that up a little bit. Still looking for this range as our bottom out here. Now, could we come back all the way up to this 29, even 29.2, which would be retesting the bottom of this rising channel? Definitely a possibility. Now, what I talked about last week, I was waiting for the 31.5. We did not get the 31.5, but I told you if we broke this trend line, that I would get back into my short, and I did get into it at 28.7, and I'm still short there. Stops at break even, so if it does break above this, I'll be looking for an entry at the retest of this white trend line, and then if that breaks and gets support, I'll be still looking for that with 31.5, right? So it's still in the cards as a possibility. There is a lot of stuff going on in the markets with earnings this week, so it's going to be very interesting. Nevertheless, I'm still looking for these targets down here about 25.8, as long as we don't break above, break back in this rising channel. But remember, got my stops at break even. That's called risk management, which a lot of these guys don't use. They don't even use stops. That is insane. But anyways, if that does break, I'll be looking for a re-entry somewhere at the retest of this trend line or near it. And again, I'll use my stop losses tight to get back above. If it does get back above and inside there, then my next short will be around 31.5. Guys, I don't tell anyone what to do. This isn't financial advice. I tell you what I'm doing, and it's done extremely well for me for a very long time. So what happens if the 25.8 breaks? Then we got some support down here, about 23, and then all the way down to around that 20,000 range, depending on how quick it would get there. Obviously, this is a rising trend line. But guys, if this trend line breaks here, expect new lows quickly if that happens, right? Let's take a look at, this is the video. And if you listen, this was on December 2nd, 2021. Listen to when I said I think the bottom will be, and I have not veered from that one bit, and I'll show you why after the video. Here is from December 2nd, 2021. we just went something like this, back down to the 55 EMA, and 665 days would be in September of 2023. September of 2023, true bottom. The false bottom before that, because this is a bubble pop pattern, in my opinion, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. But as you can see, I showed big spikes, right, all the way down, and I explained many times after that, in about every video, that we would have spikes up to get everyone bullish, only to come down and make new lower lows each time. Here is a bubble pop, right? This is the .com bubble when Amazon popped, right? Came back down to where it started. We had the false bottom at the break of this weekly trend line on the RSI, right? And this looks small, guys, but if you put your measuring tool in there, that false bottom was 110% rally. And we talked about that. I told you the whole year, the 2 years, you go back and look, and I told you the false bottom, expect around 100% rally. I thought it would be later. I thought it would be in the beginning of this year. It happened in later last year, right? Either way, false bottom. And I told you I look for shorts in a bear market. We are still in a bear market, guys. We had a relief rally. That's it. Still coming down to these lower lows, in my opinion. But you can see as we broke the weekly trend line here on the weekly, look at the MACD now rolling over. Also, this is Nintendo. Yes, you can compare different assets because it's all chart patterns. It's all traders trading this stuff. If you really look at what's going on in the markets today, it's not about what the company does, whatever. It's about the charts. These guys are moving money, making tons of money, getting people in to take their money out. It's so simple, yet people like to complicate it so much. But you can see this right here, always returns to where it started. So Bitcoin should get down into these ranges right here before we hit a true bottom in September, October of this year. See this big, huge rally here. This was a 64% rally. We also had this big spike in here. What was that one? A 68% rally. We're going to take a look at another bubble pop. But guys, all these bubbles do the same thing, right? They do the same thing. Same thing we're looking at here, guys. It is not bullish, in my opinion, in any way, shape, or form. As you can see here, we had a few of the big spikes, big false rallies, false bottoms, always coming down to where it began, just like we are going to do here. I'm pretty confident in it. Like I said, I haven't changed my opinion since December 2nd, 2021, when everybody was telling you to buy up here. They called the bottom 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 here. Now they've called the bottom here. I think lower lows are coming, guys, and I think it's going to hurt a lot of people. Tesla. As you guys know, we've had these targets since June of 2022. I told you when this trend line broke, these were the targets, right? 211, 183, 151, 106. You can go back and watch the videos. Had all these in there. These were the areas to look for a bounce. We got our bounce off our 106, came up, retest. I still think I'm a buyer, and probably by the end of this year, 50 to 60 bucks for Tesla. This is an old monthly chart where I show, I believe we will be coming down to retest this bottom trend line on the monthly. And that'll be when our lows get in September, October, in my opinion. Thanks for watching, guys. Just wanted to get a quick video out. I will do an update early tomorrow morning too. I'm trying to do them earlier so I can get them out to you. Make sure you smash the likes, leave your comments below, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep pumping these out earlier, trying to get up early, as you guys know. Building a house, got a lot going on. We're getting to the final stages. So that is what's most important to me right now. So I will try to fit these videos in every morning just to give you an update where I'm at, what I'm doing. And thanks for watching, guys. I'm out. See you in the next one.